This is going to be a tutorial video on accessing the GeoPro 3D home site, getting into your account, creating an account, and using the online visualizer tools, which will interface with your PC files and everything else. And first, let's go ahead and take you and run you through the page here. So what we're going to see is at the top, we want to be at geopro3d.ai. That's our official home page. And you can just run right down here, log in. Now, if you don't have an account, you're going to hit create account and start an account, and it'll take you into your user dashboard. And once you have done that, you now have an account with us, and you will have access to the software tools. There should be a trial period where you can use this analysis software, and then you'll have the choice after that to subscribe or to download the version for your PC or laptop. And until then, we're going to be running the online version. As you can see here, it's all fired up and working. And the way you start this, after you give your microphone access and stuff, of course. So when you go to the site, it'll often ask for your microphone access. And that's just to get the visualizer running so that the device can use it. And what I'm going to be showing you is how I can create files on my phone, even to scan with that, and we can still access them here online instantly. So really, what it gives you the ability to do is be able to scan pretty much anywhere in the world, and someone will simultaneously be able to bring those scans up and see them right in front of your eyes, which is just, it's kind of insane. And I'm not sure, I don't think the scan will show up as we're doing it on here, but I'm going to show you one first we're going to create right before your eyes. And so in order to do that, we start our visualizer, and our filters here at the, our filters here at the top, this whole string, these are presets that you can use to adjust what's going on in the up here in the live scroll or the feed. And so you'll want to adjust the feed scale. Well, we can raise it up to where our normal frequencies will be in line there. And then we can take our gain cut and go ahead and drop some of that background noise out. And so this filter reduces your background noise. And I'll just do a whistle for a tone. And you can see it still picks that up and registers it great, and it knocks out all the background stuff. So when we're doing our scans, you connect a machine to this, it's going to be able, you can clean that up really well. And then our other filters here, if let's say that we had a lot of low end in the sound, I can just go down here to the low frequency cut and start cutting off the bottom there that you can see. So when you look down here in the bottom, you'll see these where I use the slider. These kind of went away for us. And that enables us to cut, if you have some weird high-end interference or low-end interference, you can just cut those off. That's not to mess with them unless you have to. Just take in the sound, cut your gain down to a respectable level, and you're really good to go. And we have a setting here so we can lock these, and so you can't mess them up, especially when you're operating on a laptop with gloves or whatever. Makes it a lot more difficult to make a mistake, let's say. So take our circle off of there. And so now we're actually ready to make a scan. So all we're going to do is we'll put the PC test as a name here. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to hit save or anything anywhere. And then we select our rates per second. And just to save time, we'll do 3 pulses per second. And normally you're traveling about 1 foot per second. So we usually use it on 1. And that's plenty of resolution. But if you want to go extreme resolution, you can turn this up and take multiple samples per second. Or you can travel at a higher rate of speed, like on a quad or out of window of a vehicle, and you can turn this up to 10 pulses per second and still scan at good resolution, even at speed. And so we'll do 10 count. Now this is our lines we're going to travel. So how many pulses forward we're going to take. We're going to do a 10 by 10 grid, let's say, at 1 foot per pulse. Now up here at the timer, we're going to show, I should bring my circle back up for you here. So as I said, the rate button is there. That's where we change our pulses per second. Our count is our total count we're going to walk. And then our timer function is a countdown timer. So right now it's set at 5 seconds, and that gives me position to push the button, or the time to push the button and move into position so I can start my scan. And you'll see, so it'll do a 5-second countdown for us, and then we'll do a scan right now. So we're going to actually scan my whistle. So, and we'll have to run another line. So it takes 2 lines to have a scan so it can have somewhere to draw the data in between. So we'll run one more. Okay, so the wild thing about this is, let's say if I had a tree in the way, and I run into my scan, I can actually decide where I want to put these. So my Y position is sideways, and my X is me walking forward. And I'm going to run one more scan, and let's move this over here. These are the controls I'm talking about, and I'm going to run one more scan, and you can watch those progress and see what they're doing. So if you just watch those controls after the countdown, and there's your X. That's us walking forward, and then it'll reset the Y position to the next line to the right. So that all is taken care of automatically. But if you wanted to add, let's say that you had a tree 3 pulses in, you could go over here to point save. You could select this line. You could hit it 3 times, make your point, and then you could actually advance the next line down. So then you go over here and advance the next one down, or bring it back. But you can put points anywhere you want to in the scan area. So if you had an obstruction you have to go around, you can actually work with that. So if our obstruction, let's say we had 3 points before we hit the obstruction, then I could hit point save 3 times, and you can see the X position progressed. And let's say the tree was 2 pulses thick, or rock or whatever, then I can manually go over here to this control, and I can manually advance it the 2 pulses. And I can do it here, or I can do it in the box, whichever. And then we're going to drag this over like I did, and then point save again for the rest of the line. Now, the thing is, I know that I'm on the 6th line, and I'm going up to 10. So I hit this 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's actually going to hit the next line, so I draw 11. Okay, now to progress at this point, I have to go over here and manually turn us to the next line, which is 5, and it'll reset our slider again. And then I can take my automatic line if I choose to. So we can go back over to the scan button and just scan the next line. We'll scan another one. Now, we should have a scan ready to go, actually. So since we're working online, it's going to ask me, what I want to do with this file. And when I go browse scans, this is the scan we just did, PC test. And I'm going to download this file to my computer real quick and just hit save. And then I can go down here to choose file, and in downloads will open, and I'll select it from my downloads. And there's the file we just made with my whistling and my voice. And you can see when I open it in the next grid, so that's a frequency grid. Let's open it in an amplitude grid. Okay, so that's the amplitude grid. Now see the hole in the data? That's where my tree would have been, or rock or boulder or obstruction. So by using the point save feature along with the live scan feature and back and forth, you can work all kinds of different ways. These will enable you to move around obstructions and be able to just continue your scan. Now, also, let's say we've already opened this file and we're already looking at it. And so let's go ahead and play with that just a little bit. And this is our 5D smart grid. This is AI controlled. It's a little different animal than what we were looking at above. It normally starts out with one click onto the low frequency because it'll highlight high iron areas and objects and targets. And you can see here, there's one surface plane that has like a field obstruction, and then the actual hole we just shot. And so this is the field interpretation working through that. And there's a lot of different filters here we can do to dramatically alter the information and the data. And you can bring up the fields, you can bring up the values separately in the fields. Of course, you can change the dimension. But beyond that, you can go over here. I'm sorry for the silence there. You can go over here and select the amplitude map, and then you can view this in its amplitude values. Our settings will remain the same. So if we reset this all back where we were. Okay, and so if I want to take our peaks off and look without any type of filtering at all, this is kind of what our peaks look like. And you can actually see where our round hole in our magnetic field would be. So this is the actual field sampling, what we just did. And the map below it is the interpreted magnetic field by the AI. And the red lines that we see are AI finding. We'll bring this up so we can take a look at or we'll bring it this way. Let's see, to use our depth. So if we use our depth, we should be able to get and pull off those lines so we could see them a little bit better. There we go. See the lines on the bottom there. Those lines are objects or features that the AI is picking out in the data. Even though this was just a test scan with audio, it still picked what it thinks it's picking out, specific things. And if you want to see that in action, we can take a look at this in several different ways. One of them that's really wild is we can look at the magnetic field being plotted and interpreted by the data. So the red scan in the center area is our scan area. This is right here just in the middle is our scan area. And I'll show you with my good old red circle here. So this is our scan area. And all the rest of this is interpreted or inferred or predicted magnetic fields around our scanned area. So we didn't even scan that. And the AI is interpreting and figuring out what the magnetic field would be, like 100 feet across out here, which is really insane. Now, we can adjust that too. So we have a filter for that field interpretation. We can even go bigger. And so what's the magnetic field look like in a huge area around our scan? And remember, we didn't even scan that area, but the AI is able to figure it out anyway, or we can shrink it down. Something really unique to our software is, and it'll do this on any features, we can then go over to, let me get back to my other program here. We can then go over here to the scan anomalies feature, and this does something really off the wall. So this puts the AI to work, and we're going to tell it to, with this box below, we're going to tell it to scan 10 different scans to take a look for things, let's say. And it's going to sit here and work, and it already did a bunch of tests. It said there's 5 anomaly flags placed. We bring those in, and it's going to say, I have an anomaly over here. And it's going to tell us that there's something here causing this large belt or reflection. And notice it doesn't pick up the hole in the magnetic field because it knows that's not a thing. That's an absence of a thing. But what it's doing is it's best to define some type of feature or object. And then you can put your cursor on these and it'll bring up an ID tag, an anomaly flag. And this tells you it's a high anomaly, tells you its position, its value as an anomaly according to everything else, its significance rating, and then label. So it's not labeled yet. It doesn't know what this is. Okay, but if we click it, then we can bring up a flag chart and then we can actually label this anomaly. We can tell the AI what this is. So select flag to label. And if we pick any one of these flags, then we can go in here and tell it, okay, this is whatever you've discovered, an iron box. This is a guardrail. This is whatever I found. And then it will work with the machine learning from that point forward to then try to help identify anomalies. And so this, you can teach your AI based on, what's going on. And that's something that you're probably not going to find anywhere else with any softwares and active AI. And remember, this is all just the online version. So when you buy the software, you can do all of this offline anywhere in the world. What I'm using requires a data connection, but that's what's kind of cool about this whole thing. So while you can't see what I'm about to do, but I'm actually about to take a scan with my telephone, and just knock one out real quick, and I'll reduce everything down so it takes a little less time to actually do the scan. So let's knock it down to like 2. I'll take our rate of scan up to 5, just so it scans real fast. Now that sound's coming from my phone. I just ran one line. I'm going to run another line. Okay, now we just ran just a 2-line scan, correct? That was with my phone that you can't see. Now I'm going to just go right now, and we're online. This is on my home PC, and I'm looking right here, and that's what I just did with my telephone. So I'm able to run a scan with my phone anywhere, and then I can look, or someone else can sit and have the analytical software open and get it instantly. And then I'm going to go ahead and just save this, and we're going to take a look at what I just did with the phone. So all I got to do is open it up, select it from my downloads, and this is what I just did with the telephone. So that's how fast you can actually scan with the device, have it inside the system, and have it open in seconds, literally seconds. And if we want to put hardcore AI on that file, we can just open it right up. It's going to look at it and tell it, hey, why don't you show us if there's any anomalies here? And we'll just take a look and see if it discovers anything in the data. That said 2 anomaly flags placed. So right there. So it's picked up some form of a low frequency anomaly or low amplitude anomaly in that region, which means it probably does have a high frequency pitch. But you'll just see, how long did it take to just run a scan with my phone, open it miles away, could be anywhere on Earth, and put the AI to work on it to see if we've got an anomaly or not. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you now as well. I can do it from the phone, or I can do it from here and reach in. When I've maxed out my online database, we might supply 10 scans or something. Then I can either choose to download them, or I can just pull them from the database right here, and then they're gone. And we don't store anything because we don't have room for that much information. So that's why you get a max. So it's all your stuff. You can save it when you do it with the phone. You can save it in the phone. It also gives you options when you go to choose file where you can upload directly from your phone. So there's a lot of options that you can use when you're doing this stuff. Point save, I saw that you can just do solid point save grids. You can do solid scan, live scan grids. And it's going to keep track of all the saves you've got. And when you're going to start a new file, you just have to go in here and rename it and set your slider values back. I always turn these down to 0, even though it really doesn't affect the data. It's just a way for you to keep track where you're at in your overall scan. And you just enter your next file name, whatever it's going to be. And then you start scanning. And that's it. And it's going to already save to the new thing. You don't have to say save scan or anything. It saves the moment you do it. Now, if you put in the same file name you had before back in this box, and that file's in the system, it will add to that existing file. And then we'll have an upload file and things option as well. But it just gives you the ability to change data, to add to files, to add to scans. It's pretty amazing, what you can do. You can scan around rocks, like I said. So in our amplitude map here, we see the hole where our rock would have been, or our tree would have been, or whatever our obstruction was. You can, if you wanted to, you could just continue to scan completely off that area. You could have one line going out to 100 feet, and the others here, and it'll map it just like that. So it just doesn't matter what you choose to do. Any line can be any length in the data. So, okay, that's going to go ahead and wrap the user side of this thing up. I'll also show you, we've got a light feature that if you want to look at it, the more modern, white background, depending on how your laptop is and time of day, and some other things. And then at the top of the window, you can always go up and hit the refresh, and it'll reset the entire program for you. And then, then you're off and running, start a brand new deal of whatever you want to do. So cool. Thanks for watching the tutorial on GeoPro 3D, and hope to see you out there in the field.